we'll learn how to use the buttons element inside of Shogun. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop a button onto the page. Now you'll notice that like other elements, the button, when dropped on the page, is going to be 100% wide. And if you want it to shrink, you can easily do so by placing it in a containing element. So here I'm going to drop some columns on the page, dial the number of columns up to 3. I'm going to drag and drop that button into the middle column, and I have a perfectly centered button that is a significantly smaller width here. So let's review some of the button configuration options. First field over here is the button text. So if I want to put a different CTA, different call to action for the button text, I can do so quite easily. And I can have the button link through to another page. So here, if I want it to link through to Google, I would just go ahead and copy that URL, and I would paste it inside of the button link field. You want to make sure to always include the full URL for the button link, including the HTTPS part. Here we have a toggle for whether you want the button to open a brand new window. If you want the button to just click through to the specified link, just leave that untoggled. We have lots of different styling settings for buttons. And it's very important to note that we actually have styling settings that are particular to the 3 different button states, including default, which is how the button looks right now, hover, when the button is hovered over, and active, which is when the button is clicked. So here we can change the background color. Just to give an example of this, let's say we want to change the background color on the default state to red. On the hover, we want it to actually be blue, and then on active, we want it to be, let's say, yellow. So here you can see it quite nicely. It's red over here on default. On the hover, it's blue, and on the click, it's yellow. And you can similarly apply those 3 different style states to font. So here on the default, we could make the font black. On the hover, when the background is blue, we could make the font something much lighter, like white. And here you can see the effect. We also have a lot of the standard styling that you would expect, including padding, which will control the content that is inside of the button. You want to make sure that you are paying attention to which state you are editing for, because the styling that you do here can be specifically applied to any of these states. So here for the default, if I wanted to change the padding here to 40, make the top 20, I can start playing around with how that text is positioned inside of the button. For, let's say I wanted to make here, I'll just go ahead and reset this so we don't have such a weird looking button. If we wanted to make the button smaller, we could do so by applying a little margin. Here I'll apply 15 pixels of margin on each side. That makes our button a little less wide. You have the screen settings option, and you can have distinct button settings for different screen sizes. Borders is quite an interesting one for buttons, specifically the radius of the border. So if you want to have those nice rounded edges, you can go ahead and dial up the button's border radius. As well as box shadow and some advanced configurations. But these are the basics of a button. You can see here, because we've placed it in columns, responds quite well across different screen sizes. And here we'll go ahead and save this page. We'll publish it, view the live page. There is our button with our distinctive hover and active settings, and when it is clicked, it is going to click through to Google. And that is how you use the button element inside of Shogun. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us at support@getshogun.com or visit our help center. Thank you.